Hello, welcome to Technical Founders. My name is Carlos Lara, software engineer and entrepreneur, and in this video we'll be learning phase 2 of customer validation, which is sell to visionary customers. So in the previous phase 1, we got ready to sell, and now it's time to go ahead and sell. So let's go right into it. So the first part is to contact visionary customers. Now, you need to distinguish between early evangelists versus mainstream customers, because these are your customers that you're looking for. And in customer discovery, you came up with characteristics that define an early evangelist. And you need to be careful because early evangelists are the kind of customers that are willing to put up with an imperfect product because they have a problem. They recognize that they have a problem, and they are desperately looking for a solution. In fact, they may have already built their own homegrown solution, or they may have already allocated a certain amount of a budget for a solution. So that's what you're looking for, the early evangelists. Now, the mainstream customers are actually looking for, they may have a problem, maybe it's not that big of a problem, but they're looking for the perfect solution with all the features already implemented, a very complete product with basically no risk. So this is a waste of time right now. These are not your customers right now. These will be your customers 1 to 2 years from now. Early evangelists are your customers today. So again, from customer discovery, you have a list of characteristics that define an early evangelist, a visionary customer. And now it's time to go ahead and, again, generate a customer list, just like in customer discovery, create an introductory email, short and sweet, and a reference story. Now, at this point, you are going to be making a lot of sales calls. And you need to be prepared for the fact that probably 1 out of 20 prospects that you engage with will actually be engaged in the sales process and go forward. 1 out of 20 is 5%. So you need to be prepared for that. And also, but at this point, you already hired a sales closer to help you. From actually in the previous in phase 1 we talked about that, and he or she will help you with that. But you need to be prepared to be making a lot of sales calls. You're a startup. So let's go ahead and go into the next part B, which is refine and validate the sales roadmap. Now, a question you need to ask yourself is, can you sell to a handful of visionary customers? Now, co-founder and CEO of Airbnb, Brian Chesky, when he was talking to one of the founders of Y Combinator, Paul Graham, he was telling him, Paul, how can we get 1 million customers? And Paul said, Brian, why don't you focus on getting 100 customers who love you rather than focus on getting 1 million customers who kind of like you? So you want to sell to a handful of visionary customers, maybe 3 or 5, a small amount. Now, the point right now is not to generate a lot of revenue. That is not the point. The point is to validate the sales roadmap. Now, the next one, this is a trap that entrepreneurs fall into, so do not customize the product for each visionary customer. Why not? So let's say you're talking to a customer that you consider a visionary customer, an early evangelist, and the customer is saying, oh, I have a problem, this is a good solution, but I need these 2 or 3 additional features, custom features, okay? And you might be tempted to say yes, just so you can get a customer, your first customer or something. And then you talk to another early evangelist, and they say the same thing. Oh, it's almost there, but we need these 2 or 3 custom features or something, and they're different from the other, and each one is telling you different things. Now, you want to resist the temptation to go ahead and build those features. You know why? Because you're building a company basically that's building custom products. Now, why is this a trap? Because that is not a scalable business. Creating custom products for individual customers, that is not a scalable business, and we're talking here about scalable businesses. Okay? So we need to be aware of that. Of course, now, if you have, for example, 3, 5, several different customers requesting custom features, but it's the same custom features, then that is actually a clue. That is, the market is speaking. The market is saying, these are the actual product requirements. So here it's time to pivot and refine and update the actual product. Because the market consistently is telling you that this is what they want, this is what they find valuable. Only in that case you would do this. You do not build custom products for individual customers. Now, the next one is, and resist this temptation, please, do not give away the product for free or at a high discount. Entrepreneurs all too often are tempted to do this. Even I was tempted to do this at the beginning, just so we can get our first orders, get our initial validation. But that is not validation, is it? If you give away the product for free, you have no sales. If you have no sales, what does validation mean? Customer validation, what does that mean? Sales is what validates your hypothesis, your business model, if this actually works. If you give it away for free, then how do you know that you have validation? How do you know that if you actually charge for this product, the customer would pay for it? So do not give it away for free. And if the customer doesn't want to pay for it, then guess what? That is not an early evangelist. That is not a visionary customer, or the pain is not big enough to justify spending money on it. Therefore, you may need to go back to customer discovery and iterate your approach, maybe find a different customer, but you need to resist the temptation to do this. And by the way, if you know you're adding a ton of value, if you know that the product is worth what you're charging for it, then that's what the customer should pay. It's actually fair because you're giving value in exchange for their dollars. If they don't want to pay for it, then maybe they don't see the value. Maybe it's a marketing issue. You're not positioning the product. You're not selling it properly. So that's something you need to be aware of. Now, a goal here in part B is to secure customer orders. And this is going to be very important for the next step. And obviously, secure customer orders, what does that mean? Sales, of course, that's what we want. And the next one is keep track of the win-loss statistics on sales calls. So again, you're making a lot of sales calls, and the majority of the prospects are saying no in one way or another. So you actually need to understand why a particular prospect said no. In fact, it's much more important to understand why they said no than why they said yes. And that way you learn, you can iterate, you can actually get closer to realizing what is the actual sales roadmap, what it actually looks like, and what it takes for this to be successful. And holds the team accountable. The customer development team is held accountable, and everyone is on the same page about the sales roadmap. But this is reality. The sales is inescapable. Sales are part of every business. Now, the third part here in phase 2 is refine and validate the channel plan, the distribution channel plan. So the first point is get a preliminary order now. So why now? So why not before you have secured customer orders? Because a channel partner, a distribution channel partner, needs to know if there will be demand, if there is demand for your product, if anyone cares. If they give you an order and they purchase a product or a series of products for you, like, will they actually sell? They want to know this. And more fundamentally, they want to know if they can make money, if they can increase their revenue, if they can increase the money that they make with these products. So, but once you're talking to them, and you actually have secured customer orders, then now you have the proof. You have all the proof that you need to actually persuade them, basically, that there's actually demand for the product. Now, you need to distinguish between a channel partner and a customer. So when a customer purchases your product or service, that's validation. Now, if a distribution channel partner gives you an order for your product or service to sell it through their channel, that is not validation. In fact, they won't even do that unless they know that there is demand for the product, unless they know that there is demand to pull the product or service out of the channel, and they can make money. So, again, channel partners do not create that demand. That is the startup's job. That is your job to create that demand. And finally, once you have your customer orders, you need to update your channel partner presentation, your collateral materials, your sales presentation materials based on those orders. And this will be a very good selling point to get your distribution channel partners on board to go ahead and sell your product. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, any thoughts, any comments, please leave them at the bottom. Also, please subscribe so you're notified when new videos come out. And I will see you next time.